Welcome back, guys. My name is T. For those that don't know me, I'm a full-time screen printer and a part-time van lifer, building out my own van. I hope everyone is doing well, safe, content, happy, peaceful, and living their best lives. Today, this video is going to be a little different than any other video. Something happened to me last week that shook me to my core. And I just wanted to share it with you because we live in a crazy world right now. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not a weak person. I don't scare easily. I hold my own. I consider myself a badass when it comes to taking care of myself. Nothing scares me really. Um, I was going to Home Depot. I go to Home Depot. Let me just clarify that. I go to Home Depot very frequently. On this particular day, I think it was last week around Tuesday or Wednesday, I typically park where the construction workers park their vans when they got a load going. I always park there because I'm always loading wood or something that is too big for my car. And I parked across the street from that. I didn't park underneath where it's covered. I I wasn't thinking, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to buy anything in the wood department because that's typically where I enter and exit. It was a beautiful sunny day, so I decided I would walk up to the opposite side of Home Depot where I needed to be, where the paint department is. Wood is on that side of the building, and paint is on the opposite side. So I was walking in. I was looking at plants, kind of just checking things out, and I walked in. And the minute I walked in, something hit my gut. I look up, and there are two guys, one on the right side and one on the left side, and they were just standing there, but they both stared at me, and obviously it caught me off guard. So I continue walking. Now, all of this happened really fast. I'm just going to explain it to you how I now process it. Okay, it's going to feel like there was a lot of time, but in reality, there was not. Everything happened quite quickly. So I start walking, and the guys are staring at me, and then they start walking. So I'm behind one of the guys on the right side that's right in front of me is the big, husky, tall guy. I don't know what his nationality was. He was dark skinned, darker than me, brown, dark brown. The other guy, and I'm just saying this because of the description that is burnt in my head, okay? The other guy was also dark, but not as dark as that one, and he was tall and slim. In the moment that I started walking behind them, the guy motioned with his hand to the other guy like this, and the guy walked ahead of him on the other side of the aisle. Now, when you walk in, there's a middle part where they have displays. There's a walk-in. People usually walk that way, and then people usually come this way. The other slender guy was on this side. So in walking, again, this happened quite quickly. The guy in front of me stops, so I stop, and he moves to the side, obviously giving me the leadway. So I continue on, think nothing of it. But in that moment, I did turn back. I turned back this way, and I saw him motion to the guy like this. Okay, and then I continued to walk. Something didn't seem right. He was right behind me, like I felt him really close to me. And at that moment, I knew something was up. I just didn't know what it was, or if it was intended for me. But it sure felt like it. So I continued walking, and the paint department is, I don't know, a few feet up. So I hurry up in there, and I go to the paint department where the oops paint is. And right across from the oops paint are the paintbrushes and such. I turn around at that point in time, and I lock eyes with him, and he's followed me there. The other guy went to the end of that open aisle and stood at the corner staring at me. Okay? So I'm standing there and he's standing behind me. But I've already turned around and locked eyes with him. And I think I did it because something inside of me told me, let him know, somehow a signal that you see him. And he did this to the guy. He went like this, and I caught it. So I walked closer to the counter. And I was trying to get the attention of the lady, but she was helping another customer. So this guy is still standing there. Okay. And at some point, it dawned on me, maybe this is not for me. Maybe they're waiting on somebody. So I turn around and look, and there's no one beside me. There's no one behind me and either side. There are people down the aisle, down on the paint department, spray paint department, or further down anyway. But that's not where he was looking. He was looking dead in my eyes. Again, I don't scare easy. I don't pay attention to things like that. But this was different. When my gut tells me something, I listened to it. And that day, I listened. I was shaken by this, okay, because I don't know what's going on. I just know there's a lot of, you know, signaling going on between these two guys. The guy is now behind me staring at me. And he started walking slowly. And there's a U. So you would walk around the counter, okay? So he started walking slowly and he stood there. And I'm facing this way. So now he's got me cornered right here with the eyes. And he's standing there and he's looking at me. Now he has a bottle of water, but the label is not on that bottle. It is clear. You know, sometimes either the label falls off or you rip it off or whatever the case is. And there was liquid in there. I remember seeing about that much liquid in that bottle. At that point in time, I started doing things that we're taught. You know, if you're in an accident, you want to get what the person looked like, what kind of car they were driving, what color it was, and if you can, their license plate. So I started, all these things started running through my head. Okay, this guy has a full beard. He's husky. I don't know what he is, but I know he's dark brown. He has dark hair. He has a bottle of water in his hand or something, some kind of liquid in that bottle. The guy over there is standing there, staring at him, and the guy went like this, and that guy went like this. So the guy moved over a little bit, okay? And I can still see that guy here. Now I'm waiting for the woman still, and I didn't say anything for the first time in my life. My jaws locked, okay? And that doesn't happen often. I had fear, okay, within me. And I'm sharing this, guys, because we have become complacent. Or at least I have. You know, you go places, you don't pay attention that much. You go. I have. If I have a goal, I go in and I come out. That is. And whatever's happening between is a blur. Or it was until that day. So the guy continues. He starts walking again to the U, and he stands at the corner now. Now he's directly across from me, and that guy has moved over. I can see part of him now. I don't see all of him. So the lady turns around finally and she said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Listen, there's a guy behind you, and there's a guy at the end of the aisle, and they're both either following me or something because they certainly followed me here. Please don't turn right now. He is staring at me." She turns around. She sees him and she was like, "Oh, do you know him?" I said, I don't know him. I don't know them. I've never seen them before. But they are definitely following me, especially him." I said, "He's been making little signs to the other guy, and the other guy is doing whatever it is, communication that they're doing. The other guy is standing past here, but I can see half of him." So when the lady turned around and she saw him, he looked at me again, and he looked at the guy, and then he walked off. Okay. And she said, "Okay, well, he's gone." I said, "Something weird is going on. I'm not sure what it is, but my gut is telling me that something is going on." Again, let me reiterate, I do not scare easily. I don't think anything of anything typically until something happens like this. The minute I walked in, I saw them. Something was odd about them. Not the color of their skin, nothing. It was just the fact that they were standing there. It's like they were waiting on something or someone, and of course, I'm the one that walks through the door. I don't know what was going on, but it certainly felt like it was me. Okay, 100%. I feel like something was going to happen to me. I don't know what, but again, I'm not doing this to alarm anyone. I'm letting you know, please, in this lifestyle, there are full timers, lots of you. Please. I know I'm probably being extra, but I'm going to continue to do so because we never know. We don't pay attention to our surroundings sometimes. At least I mean, I was in that place, but not anymore. Rest assured that every time I go into the store, I have been back to Home Depot since, and I got that feeling. This is my second time to Home Depot after this happened. The first time I was a little bit on edge. Now let me finish the story. So once he saw that she turned around and he saw that I said something to her and she turned around, now he knows that someone is aware that I know that he was following me. For him to go into the paint department and stand there and stare at me continuously, that lets me know that something was going to happen to me. I don't know what. Okay. So they walk off. She shakes I get my paint, she shakes it, and she said, "Listen, just be careful." And I said, "Absolutely. I'm going to go pay for this." And I realized that I have to walk to the other side of the store to pay. So I'm at the self checkout, and when I'm walking across, you can see all the aisles. And every aisle, I'm looking up and down the aisles to see if I spot them, or to see if maybe they're hiding around the corner or something. Something was definitely about to happen to me until I opened my mouth and told that lady about him. I didn't see them again. But when I cashed out, I asked the gentleman, I said, "Do you mind watching me get in my car? Because I just had these two guys following me and I don't know them. I have no idea what was up, but I'm a little bit nervous to get to my car." He said, "Say less. I'll stand right here and watch you get in your car." And he did. Now I left out across the street. I'm still scanning to see if there's anybody in the vehicle that the big guy that was following me, I could describe him to a T. The other guy, I cannot. So I cross the street. I go to my car. Now, when I left my car, there was a white low roof Transit next to me to my right. The way it was parked, the sliding door is on the opposite side of where I got out of my car. Okay. And on this side was a burgundy truck with like a little camper on top of that. Now remember those two things when I left. So when I'm approaching my car, the gentleman in the maroon truck is loading. He just opened his camper and he's about to load some stuff in there. And he's blocking me to get to my car. And he looked up at me. Everybody's a suspect to me at this point. I know he wasn't one of the guys. So I knew that I was okay. Or at least I felt a little better. And he said, "I'm sorry, am I in your way? Let me move my stuff so you can get through." And I said, "Yes, thank you." So he moved his stuff, and then it reminded me of the guy he stood to the side and let me go before him before he was on my tail. Okay, so that kind of wigged me out a little bit, had nothing to do with it. I didn't think it was him, but I got in my car quickly. I sat in my car, locked the doors, and I'm looking around, and I don't see them again. Okay, I pull out. Now, when I was at the paint department, before I saw him, before I turned around to see him again, I texted my partner and I said, "Listen, there are two guys following me." I did a description of him and I sent a description of the other guy. I said, "In case anything happens, this is what they look like, blah, 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 whatever." And I sent it. I looked at my phone, I was at the light, and I looked at the message, and my partner said, "Make sure that no one's following you. Tell someone to walk you out to the car," which all this had already happened. Like I said, everything happened very quickly. It just, I have to explain to you what happened, how it happened, so it seems longer, but it was all very quickly. I go home and I'm shaken. Okay. I have never felt this way before. I didn't know these guys. I don't know, again, what nationality they are. So I'm not trying to profile anyone. What I am trying to say to you is please be careful. Scan your surroundings. Be aware. Okay, because we live in a crazy world and right now things are crazy. Okay. just be careful. That's all this video is about. I hope that you guys will take it for what it is. And again, I'm not weak. I don't scare easily. I can hold my own. But at that very moment, the minute I walked in, I felt something. I'm not sure what it was. I didn't know what it was. But when all these things happened, something was going to happen to me. Thank God and goodness that it did not. It took me some time to shake it off. I told 3 people: my partner, one of my siblings, and a friend of mine, Mona. And, I spoke a little bit about it with them. And after a while, Mona texted me back. She said, you really should think about making a video about this because, for safety reasons. And at that moment, I was like, at first, I was shaken to the core. I need to digest this first. And she was right. When things like this happen, we need to share them. Because if I can help someone just to remember to be alert, to be, don't have blinders on when you go out. I know I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not trying to create excitement, any of that. All I'm saying is be safe out there. Watch where you're going. Check your surroundings out. You just never know when something might be up. And hopefully that will help keep you safe. Thanks, guys, for listening. Stay blessed. And I will see you in the next one.